which includes all those activities which starts from extraction of raw materials and taking all those raw materials to the manufacturing facility, and after manufacturing all those goods when they are reaching to the final consumers. So all the stages which are involved in all these steps together it is called as commerce. Now, let's understand this with a simple example. The example which I have taken is for manufacturing of potato chips production in a factory. I have taken a very simple example for all of us to understand it very clearly. So, these are the various stages which are involved at a very broader level. So, first is potato farming. So, farming of potatoes at commercial level, agricultural activity. Then, after farming, all these potatoes are brought to the production facility and these potatoes are manufactured or produced and they are converted into chips. Okay, and then afterwards they are packed, they are marketing and they are distributed to the entire population. And so at fourth stage it reaches finally to all the consumers. So these are the four different stages which are there in four different stages which are involved in the manufacturing activity at a very broader level. Now, it is very important for all of us and for you guys at this stage to understand what are the different career options which are available after pursuing graduation in commerce. So this is very, a lot of students have this curiosity that why I have to take up this particular stream, why I have to do commerce, and what are the different career options which will be available after I pursue my education in commerce field. So at a in a very simple manner I will explain you. So what I have done is I have the different career options which are available nationally or internationally. I have just summarized them in this table, and in the first column I have taken industry, then what is the meaning of that industry, and then some examples of that industry. That is how I have segregated it. So first industry is extraction industry. So what is this industry? Companies which are involved in extraction of raw materials. Extraction of raw materials means we pull out the raw materials from the earth. We extract the raw materials, because to manufacture any product we need raw materials. So where do we get the raw materials from? We get mostly the raw materials we get from the mother earth. So this industry which is involved in extraction of raw materials, all those companies are categorized into extraction industry. Some of the examples of extraction industries are mining, fishing, agriculture, energy, etc. So at a very broader level I have summarized it. So this is the first industry. Second, the manufacturing industry, very important industry. Most of the countries' national income or GDP, whatever you call it, mostly it comes from manufacturing activity. It is very important for all the countries to have a very strong manufacturing industry. That is why we see these days Prime Minister giving a lot of importance to Make in India and all these things. So if we improve our manufacturing sector in the country, national income, employment, all these things will start increasing in the country. Okay, so some of the examples for this industry are textile, computer and electronic hardware manufacturing, construction material manufacturing, FMCG means all those goods which we use daily like toothpaste, soaps, shampoos, etc. So all these type of things, companies which are involved in manufacturing of all these products are categorized under this manufacturing industry. Now, the next industry is service industry. Now, which are the companies which are involved in service industry? All those companies which are involved in providing of services. So, what do we understand by services? Services means those things which are not products. Okay, like for an example, let's understand it with the help of example like banking. Banking is an example of service industry. Then IT, software industry, hotel industry. hospital industry, insurance, etc. So all these companies which are involved in such things, they are categorized under service industry. Then the last is retail industry. Now you see in most of the bigger cities or medium cities, you can see that many companies are coming into these retail businesses like mall business, retail mall business, or you see companies getting into e-commerce industry. Wherein what do we understand by retail? That companies are get in touch with consumers directly and they sell the goods directly to the consumers. So those industries which are involved in selling of goods directly to the consumers are categorized into retail industry. Okay. Now this is very important. Now I have given you many examples here industry wise. Now one thing which is very important for us to understand here is that across all the industries, opportunities are there for commerce graduate students who pursue education in commerce. They have job opportunities in all these different companies and industries, because every industry has got different departments like HR department, marketing department, finance department. So it is not that if people are there in IT sector or in hospital sector, there are no job opportunities for commerce students. It is not like that. Even though if the companies are involved primarily into IT or hotel industry and hospital industry, they do have their own finance department wherein they will be requiring people who pursue education in commerce, and opportunities like the opportunities for accountants, financial analysts, marketing executives, managerial job openings are available after completing education in commerce stream. So very important. Now let me tell you, let me come to my own subject and let me introduce you all to economics. So let's understand what is economics by understanding first the meaning of economics. Now it is very simple. In very simple terms, there are various different meanings and definitions which are available on economics. But I have taken a very simple example, very simple meaning for you guys, for to make it very clear for you guys. So economics is the study of scarce resources. Scarce resources, very important. Economics is the study of scarce resources which have alternative uses. See, most of the resources which are there, which we see around us, which are present in and around us, are scarce resources. What do we understand by scarce resources? Scarce resources means limited resources. Most of the resources which are available around us are limited in number. Now, why do we have to study economics? Is because as human beings, we have numerous wants. We have numerous desires, numerous wants, numerous needs. Now, as an individual, we want house, we want vehicles, we want mobile phones, we want laptops, we want good clothes. If we have one house, we want two houses. If we have two houses, we want four houses. If we have one vehicle, we want two vehicles. If we already have two vehicles, then we want four vehicles. So human beings, the only thing which distinguishes human beings from other creatures is that we have unlimited wants. We have unlimited wants. But in reality, can we satisfy all those wants? The answer is no. Why we cannot satisfy all these wants is because the resources which are available with all the individuals are scarce. We are limited with our resources. For an example, if you take individuals who are working, who are drawing salaries from companies and organizations, do we have unlimited salaries? No, we have limited salaries. So can we buy in one particular month? Can we buy everything? No, we cannot buy everything in one month. So that is why you see your parents and in your family members, your parents plan. We cannot buy television, fridge, washing machine, vehicles in one particular month. If we buy a washing machine in one particular month, then after 2 months or 1 month we'll plan for buying television. If we are buying television, then after some months we'll plan to buy vehicles. If we are making payment for our children college or school fees, then we cannot buy all consumer goods or capital goods in that same month. So this is what is very important. This subject is very practical and it displays the realities of life. That is very important. Economics is the study of scarce resources. We have unlimited wants. We have unlimited wants, but the resources which are available with us are very limited in number. So this is where economics comes into picture, and this is what we have to understand. Economics helps us to manage this situation. How to manage unlimited wants with limited resources. How to manage unlimited wants with limited resources. This is the main core of economics. And also these resources have alternative usages. Now, let me explain you what we mean by alternative uses in economics. Now, for an example, I took an example of an individual and I explained you. But similarly, at national level, even governments have faced this problem of limited resources. Now, you see every year we see finance minister, coming up with a budget. With that budget. So in the budget, he declares that so much of amount is given to education sector, so much of amount is allocated to capital goods industry, so much of amount is given to agricultural sector for farmers, so much of amount is located for energy sector. But can we do everything in the one same year? No, we cannot do that. So that is why we do this, we come up with budget. So in one particular, if we plan to construct roads, bridges, dams and all, then in the second year maybe we can go for construction of hospitals, schools and all those things. So we cannot do everything in the same year, okay, because countries also have limited resources. So this is where economics comes into picture. Economics helps us to manage unlimited wants with limited resources. This is what is very important for us to understand. So there are a lot of people and we have raw materials. So how we take this raw material and convert it into finished goods and we allocate with the different type of citizens is the core of economics. Now let me go to next slide. Now here what I have tried to tell you all is economics at a very broader level is divided into two parts. Okay, so entire economics is studied on the very broader level. It is divided into two parts. One is macroeconomics, another is microeconomics. Macroeconomics means big economics. Micro means a small economics. So what is this big economics and small economics? Let's understand that in the next slide. Now, microeconomics means, in microeconomics, with the name only which it suggests, micro means small. So in microeconomics we study all the small things. What are those small things? For example, we study individual households, we study individual companies, we study individual buyers, we study individual sellers. So we study small agents and individuals, peoples, companies which are present in the present nationally. Now, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics means we study economics at a national level, at an aggregate level. So what we study here? We study poverty at national level here, because this is very important for all of us, that poverty has to be reduced in the country. Then we study unemployment. Unemployment has to be reduced in the country. Everyone needs to get good jobs. That is also very important. Poverty problems. People who are below poverty line has to be. Such people have to be brought out of poverty. Then we study foreign exchange things. We study foreign exchange because at national level, countries what they do, they export certain goods and we import certain goods, right? So import and export takes place, and when we do import and export, we deal with foreign currencies because we have to make payment in other countries' currencies. Then we plan for economic growth and government policies. So all these things we study in macroeconomics. Now, economics also studies effects of various things. This is very important. Economics also studies effects of various things. So different things which are happening in the country or an economy, economics tries to study all these things. like what are the different products which are required by people in the by the people in the country. These things are studied by in economics. Then we study environmental economics, like what are the different things which are happening in economy. Now, because why we study these things? Because whatever thing or matter or a substance which can be valued in terms of money comes under the purview of economics. So we study now even water. Water has become an economic good. Even trees when they are cut and when they are sent to industries, they are converted into furnitures. So everything has got a value. So we study environmental economics. Then we study the effect of elections in an economy, right? Because you can see that every time when election results are announced, the exchange, either the exchanges will increase or it will decrease. The Sensex, you can see, you might have heard last time, the Sensex, it behaves because people respond to everything. Then we study different type of people in economy, the different type of needs, different type of people, society. So all different type of peoples we study. Then we study the effect of tax in economy. What are the implications of tax? Like before 3-4 years we had these major reforms in indirect taxation. So VAT and other taxes were removed and we came up with a single tax called as GST. So what are the effect of such things? So many things are influenced, and we in economics we study all these various different things. Now, this is very important. What I have tried and done is I have taken some 2-3 photos and I will try and explain you the very core concept of economics, which is scarcity. Scarcity means limited resources. Now, in this photo, you can see that some women and men, what they are doing is they are involved in agricultural activity. They are planting some crops there. So by looking at this photo, we can see that some people are planting some crops in a farm. So if I ask you that whether these people, they are a scarce resource or whether they are a free resource, are these people available? Are these people available freely in an economy in lot of number, or whether there is scarcity of people who are involved in doing such type of jobs? In reality, you might feel that there are many people in our country and you can easily get such type of labor, but in reality it is not the thing, because we don't have specific people at specific time at specific place. So that is why these resources are scarce. Even though if you see there are lot many people in a country like our country, a country like India, but in fact these human resources scarce because the type of skill in which people are involved, this type of specific skill is limited. That is why I have taken this photo, because initially you might feel that there are numerous people and actually you might think that this particular human resource is not scarce, but in reality even this human resource is scarce. So that is why scarcity, you have to understand this, that not many things are available freely in the country and most of the resources are scarce, and because they are scarce and limited in number, it becomes very important for us to understand and study them. Okay. The next example which I have taken is water. Now if you see at this photo, in the first instance you might feel that again this particular resource is actually free resource and it is not a scarce resource, but slowly the point of view is changing. Now even water has become an economic good. I will give you a very small example. If you go to cities like Bangalore and Mumbai, earlier they used to serve water freely, but now only when you order a dish, a food dish, then the water is served, and the water is not served if you go there and if you only consume a tea. So with this small example, what we have to understand is that even water is becoming an economic good. Okay, and it is not a free good, but it is an economic good, and it is becoming scarce these days. It has become limited. Now in this next photo, what we are seeing is there is a piece of land. Okay, it is an open land. So looking at this photo, can we say that it is whether it is a free resource or whether it is a economic resource, and whether it is a scarce resource or whether it is a free resource? Actually, maybe if we would have gone back in the previous civilization, in the primitive era, maybe people would have come here and they would have enjoyed this piece of land, and at that particular time it might be a free resource. But these days, even a piece of land is not a free resource. Even the land is becoming scarce. That is why the real estate prices of if it is agricultural land or if it is a commercial land or a residential land, the prices are going up because not many resources are free resources these days. Most of the resources are limited in number and they are becoming scarce. So this is very important. This is very core for understanding economics. Now this in this slide we will understand the factors of production. This is very important. What do we understand by factors of production? Economists have very intelligently summarized all the different things which are available for manufacturing any particular activity. They have all those things which are required for manufacturing. We can categorize all those things at a very broad level in 4 different things. Like first factor is land, second is labor, third is capital, and fourth one is organization, entrepreneurship, whatever you call it. So, if you want to manufacture anything, you will require minimum 4 things to manufacture any of the product. For an example, let me take an example of say television. Okay, if you want to manufacture say television, to establish a plant, we need a land. To establish a factory unit, I basically what I want is I require a land to put up my infrastructure facility, a building facility. I require a land. Then what I require labor. I want people to work in that organization because I cannot 100% do automation. I cannot have completely machines doing all the job. At least to on off the machine, I need people. So labors are very much required in the organization if I want to manufacture say television, for an example. Then I require capital. Capital means money and machineries both. In economics, capital means money and machineries both. So I will be needing at least say high-end instruments I will be needing, the machines I would be needing, or at least basic instruments I will be needing. So I will be needing capital investment and machineries I will be needing. And to manage this land, people and capital, money, machineries, I need enterprise, I need an organization, okay? I need a leadership team there who can manage all these resources and manufacture televisions in my example which I have taken. So any product, for an example, I have just taken an example of television. You can take any example to manufacture anything. You require basically this at a very broader level. You need these 4 different things to manufacture any resource, any product for that matter, any commodity. Now, next is let me explain you what are the different types of economies which are there in the entire world globally. What are the different types of economies which exists? Okay. In entire globe, internationally. So there are basically 3 types of economies which exist in the entire world. Okay. So first one is market economy. They are categorized at a broader level as market economy, centrally planned economy, also called as socialistic economy, and mixed economy. Okay. So we'll understand all these 3 types of economies now. Now, first one is market economy. So let's understand what is market economy. Market economy is an economy in which most of the activities and decisions are taken on the basis of price mechanism. So price mechanism decides most of the things, and they are independent from any intervention from the government. So the intervention from the government is very minimum in such type of economies. The examples of such type of economies are USA, UK, most of the countries in European Union, Australia, Japan. Most of these countries are most of these countries are the examples for market economy because they follow this type of economy wherein the intervention from the government is very minimum. Most of the decisions are taken by the private individuals, and whatever price is decided in the market for any particular good or service, that price exists in the market. Okay, and there is very little intervention from the government. Most of the things are left open for the government. So that is why you see most of the companies in such type of economies are owned and managed by private individuals. Most of the companies in such type of economies are managed by private individuals. The examples you can see now, most of in a country like America, most of the big companies are owned by private individuals. For an example, Microsoft, Apple, Ford, Domino's, McDonald's, many examples are there. So most of the companies are owned and managed by private individuals. Okay, so such type of economies are called as market economies, or such type, or the countries which follow such type of economy, such type of model are categorized under market economy. Now let's understand the features of such type of economy. Now first is profit maximization. In such type of industry, the objective of the companies and such type of economies will be to maximize profit. Profit maximization is very important, and in economics, profit maximization is not considered as bad. It is good to have to earn lot of profit because profit shows the health of the companies, right? So profit maximization is the objective, okay, is one of the characteristic and feature in market economy. Second is factors of production are privately owned. Most of the factors of production are privately owned, means most of the companies in such economies are privately owned. Very less government companies you will see in such type of environment. Most of the companies will be owned by private individuals. Then next one, consumers are free to choose whatever they can afford. There are not major rules and regulations which are imposed on the general public. General public and people, citizens are free to choose whatever they want, okay, and in whatever quantities they want. Next one, prices of goods and services are determined by market forces of demand and supply. Now, prices of goods and services are determined by the forces of demand and supply in the market, and government will not fix any prices for those goods, but they are fixed by the demand and supply forces of the market. Then next is perfect knowledge about market is available to both buyers and sellers. Now there is a perfect knowledge both to the seller as well as the buyer in such type of market. Both the people will have perfect knowledge about the market. In the market, both the people, the buyers and sellers will have perfect knowledge. Now that is all about market economy. Now let's understand the next economy, another type of economy which is called as centrally planned economy. Centrally planned economy, the meaning of centrally planned economy is a centrally planned economy is an economy in which economic activities are planned by a central government with the objective of social welfare. So this is completely opposite when compared to market economy. In such type of economies, not much freedom is given for private individuals. Most of the companies will be owned by government authorities, government bodies, either state government or central government, and governments will run most of the major services. Governments will do production of most of the goods and services, and very less freedom is given to private individuals. Most of the companies will be owned and managed by government agencies. So if such type of structure is there in the economy, then that country or economy will be categorized under centrally planned economy. Then this is the feature of centrally planned economy. First is welfare is the main objective of carrying economic activity. Now, not much importance is given to profit maximization. In such type of economies, government will say that profit is not very important for us, welfare of people is very important, and accordingly in that particular philosophy they will follow and they will carry out the businesses. Government is the only owner of the resources. Now government in such type of economy, government owns and manages most of the companies. Most of the major banks or companies will be owned and managed by government in such type of economies. Next, government employs people and pays their salaries. So, because as I said in my previous point that most of the companies are owned and managed by government bodies and government agencies. So, people they have to. So, government employs the people from the household and it makes salaries for those people. Next is prices of goods and services are determined by the government. So most of the prices of goods and services are determined by the government. So government will fix the prices of goods. It is not that people will have the freedom to, the sellers or buyers will have the freedom to fix the prices of goods and services, but government will decide what will be the price, and that price will exist in the market and people will have to sell and buy at that particular price. Now, that is all about centrally planned economy. This is the last type of economy which exists in the market, and this is called as mixed economy. Our own country is an example of mixed economy. It is a combination of market economy and centrally planned economy. Here, private individuals as well as government authorities determine economic activities. Now you can see in a country like India, government companies as well as private individuals both have freedom to come up with businesses, establish companies, carry out businesses. With this simple example, you will understand. In telecommunication sector, BSNL is there. Along with BSNL, we have private players like Jio, Airtel, etc. So, if you take transportation example, KSRTC government buses are there, along with that private bus owners are also there. So in such type of economy, government companies as well as private companies both function side by side, both have freedom to operate in the market, and both will exist side by side and both will carry out the businesses. There will be freedom given to private individuals. However, there will be certain companies which will be reserved for under government for government organizations. So in some sectors we cannot go and start manufacturing activities. There are certain industries which will be kept exclusively for government, and most of the other industries will be open in which the private individuals can come and they can set up those industries and start carrying out businesses. Now, example for such economies, the features of such economies are public and private sector coexists in mixed economy. As I previously said, that public and private sectors they coexist. Coexist means both of them they will work together at the same time. Both of them they will exist side by side and they will function in the economy. The involvement of government in production and distribution is aimed at welfare of the public. Now, private individuals will work for profit maximization. Government companies will work for increasing the welfare of the people. Prices of government and services, prices of goods and services are determined by the market forces, but however are closely monitored by the government. Now you see, more in such type of economies, the forces which are existing in the market, like the forces of demand and supply, will decide the price of the goods. However, such prices will be monitored by the government agencies, and if the prices are increasing or decreasing, then government will intervene in between and it will either increase the price or it will decrease the price. That is such concepts are called as price ceiling and price floor, which you guys will understand in PUC second year. What we will do, the next things like the central problems of an economy, which is also a very important topic, we will understand this topic in the next class. So for today we will stop here. Thank you very much.